Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. Police renew appeal for information in 8-year-old's murder case. Police on Wednesday renewed their appeal to the public for anyone with information relating to the death of 8-year-old Danilo to come forward. Deputy Commissioner of Police Fitzbailey made the urgent call while investigators returned to the scene on Roosevelt Avenue in St. Andrew, where Danilo was thrown from the vehicle with her throat slashed after being kidnapped from her school. Investigators were hoping to find additional evidence in the murder case. I am appealing to the motorist or anyone who was in the vicinity of Roosevelt Avenue within the period about 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. on Thursday, June 8, to jog your memory, check your dash cameras to see if you observe a female in a multicolored top and blue or denim kickers walking anywhere within this vicinity with a young child possibly with a knapsack on her back, DCP Bailey said. Police on Tuesday designated an image of a woman who they said is a person of interest in the murder case and asked the public to come forward with any information they may have. The photo, which has since made the round on social media, was developed using an electronic facial identification technique, the police stated. DCP Bailey went on to highlight the importance of finding the perpetrators of this brutal act. It is important that we really, collectively as a nation, pull our energy together to ensure that this case is not one of those that is placed on a shelf, but that the person who is responsible is brought to justice, he stated. All of us as Jamaicans, we have a duty to ensure that this is done. Most of us standing here, we are parents, so we understand what a child means to us, and for that child to be killed in such a brutal way, it must hit the nerves of every Jamaican, he added. Prime Minister Andrew Holness stresses the importance of students being picked up by an authorized person. Prime Minister Andrew Holness stressed the importance of having a child picked up from school by an authorized person. He made the point as he reiterated that the safety and security policy for all public schools will be reviewed. This comes in the wake of abduction and murder of 8-year-old Danilo. The child was taken from the Brayton Primary School in Portmore, St. Catherine, then found hours later along Roosevelt Avenue in St. Andrew last Thursday. Her throat has been slashed, and despite ongoing emergency surgery, she succumbed on Saturday. Noting that there is evil in the society, he lamented that good nature cannot be taken for granted. Mr. Holness said such cruel incidents should not be allowed to become the norm. Having directed the Education Ministry to review school security policy, Holness pointed out that the review may include implementation of cameras, guards and gates.
All of what we're going to do in terms of the review of the school security policy for the release of a child, and in some schools, Madam Speaker, it is the case that only pre-approved persons can retrieve a child from a school. A stranger or a person who is coming for the first time can't just come and receive a child. A person who is unknown can't just come. There would have to be a call to verify that someone was sent. It is not the practice, unfortunately, in all our schools. Some people believe it is too much of an imposition on them. But where we are now in our society, Madam Speaker, where the general good-naturedness of our people can't be taken for granted, that there is evil among us, that we have to put these security measures in place. There are those who will say this is just grand talk, Madam Speaker, but expressing our disgust at what has happened on both sides is important to remind people that there is a line in the society that we shouldn't cross, and that we don't take it for granted when it happens, so that it becomes the standard and the common and the norm. This is not the norm, and we must stand up against it and speak out against it. Madam Speaker, I have asked the Commissioner of Police to place all the investigative resources into this case, and I'm asking the public to work with the police to bring the perpetrator to justice. The pressure of the society can bring the perpetrator to justice. I've asked the Minister of Education to immediately direct that the school safety and security policy be reviewed, particularly as it relates to the release of children at the closure of school, or if someone is coming to retrieve the child before school is out. That policy needs to be standardized, and where it may require the implementation of measures which would see cameras being installed or electronic gates or security guards, the ministry must put in place the resources to ensure that these measures can be implemented.
CXC papers reportedly stolen from St. James High School. The management team at St. James High School say they are currently dealing with an emergency following news that the school's office was broken into on Tuesday night and Caribbean Examination Council CXC papers stolen. While details are unavailable at this time, reports indicated that the stolen papers were scheduled for the following day. Efforts to contact the head of the Ministry of Education Region 4, Dr. Michelle Pinnock, had proved futile. When contacted, a representative of the school told reporters that both the principal and the vice principal were currently dealing with an emergency. An official from CXC said a meeting has since been convened. They were, however, unable to speak further on the matter. Government incurs more than $150 million in cost for 18 market fires since last January. The government has incurred more than $150 million in cost for market-related fires across the country. That's according to Local Government Minister Desmond McKenzie. Speaking during a press briefing at Jamaica House on June 14, Mr. McKenzie explained that since January last year, there has been approximately 18 fires at markets across the country. Noting that many of those were acts of arson, Mr. McKenzie said the criminal activity is costing the government millions. He warned that the government will not be held hostage by criminals who seek to damage the country's markets, which are a vital institution and a source of livelihood for many.
Within the last 5 years, 10 markets across the country caught fire. 9 of those markets, the fire were set deliberately. Since the beginning of last year to today, we have had some 18 fires at various markets across the country. And the cost to the local authorities has been enormous, well in excess of $150 million worth of damage has been incurred because of these deliberate acts of arson that we are seeing being played out across the country as it relates to our markets. I want to urge those persons, I did so in my sectorial presentation, that the government will not be held as hostage by any sector of the society who feel that in setting fire to these vital institutions in the country because of the 37 markets across Jamaica. These markets provide not just a service, but a source of livelihood, of income. Hundreds of Jamaicans, their parents provided their education by selling in our markets across the country. And I want to condemn those persons who believe that this is a new form of vulgarity that is being unleashed on the country.
Woman before court for beating brother's girlfriend. Kivina Hemmings was hauled before the St. James Parish Court on Wednesday, accused of beating her brother's girlfriend. The accused woman appeared before presiding judge Sasha Marie Simit Ashley, charged with assault occasioning bodily harm following the May 21 incident. During Wednesday's hearing, Simit Ashley asked the accused woman if they had any deep-seated issues. In response to the judge, Hemmings told the court that her brother, who has a child with the complainant, brought her to the house to live with them. To be honest, when she first came, I said something to her that wasn't nice and I admitted that I was wrong, Hemmings said. She went on to say that she had a problem with the complainant not helping to pay bills, but she tried to avoid getting into arguments with her. I cannot try alone, she must also try. The incident happened on the 21st of May and I wasn't working. I told her to turn down the music a little because she was playing the music loud while she was in the kitchen, said an emotional Hemmings, who was on the verge of crying when the judge intervened. Say no more, I realize what is happening when you live together and in close proximity, the judge said to Hemmings. Simit Ashley then ordered the two to attend a restorative justice session to iron out their differences before setting the matter for mention on July 28. Hemmings is accused of hitting the complainant in the stomach and pulling her by the hair, both of which are said to have caused her excruciating pain. The court did not say how the incident began. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification